Let's go.
If you smell what the gauntlet is cooking.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Gauntlet, where we talk about everything in the NFL and bring the real sports talk to the people. The real sports talk by the realest sports fans, the way it should be. So what's going on tonight, boys? How you guys doing?
I see we all got the whole Santa hat thing going on, man. You know, we got Hanukkah Harry in the house. We got, Santa Philly Jim. We got Black Santa in the house. You know what I mean? Just getting a little of the Christmas spirit. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Can you see how much swollen this thumb? Wait, no, this one is than this one.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I smashed it with a hammer.
Oh, putting up like Christmas lights or something?
No, I wish. I was at work stamping a part, and instead of stamping a part, I stamped my thumb with a hammer.
Look at your work as you're working, man.
I was. It's like
I definitely won't get workers' comp for that, bro.
It's just like a nail, except like you got to whack it because it's metal on metal to leave a stamp.
So, gentlemen, you guys know what time of the week it is. It is time for the Sports Morons of the week. And no, I am not kidding you.
Are you guys kidding me? Are you guys kidding me?
So, I guess there's plenty of time to go around, but I just want to say anyone who's been following the World Cup knows where I'm going to go with this. It's just kind of ridiculous. It's getting out of hand what people are trying to do to Cristiano Ronaldo's name. His name is constantly in the news. There was multiple fake stories about him since the World Cup has begun. And the reason people are making these fake stories is because Cristiano Ronaldo, he's one of the biggest names in sports. This is a guy that has 500 million Instagram followers. And he's been one of the best, footballers in history. The first story was there was a video of him arriving with the Portugal national team with one of his teammates. He made a joke, and they were making this big thing about how he didn't get along, like the teammates didn't get along with him. So they're asking him all these questions about how they don't get along. None of it was true. There was another story where they said that Cristiano threatened to leave the national team in the middle of the World Cup. And anyone that has followed Cristiano Ronaldo's career knows that this guy is one of the guys that prides himself on being a top professional. And you're going to say that in the middle of the World Cup, he's just going to leave the team. It makes absolutely no sense. The journalists are so bad. They're just trying to run his name into the mud. They're trying to do stuff. They can't get a story on their own. So they use Cristiano's name to do it. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. So anyone in the Portuguese media, the English media, European media, you guys are all collectively my sports moron of the week.
Got benched in a knockout game, and his replacement had a hat trick.
Well, Cristiano's 38 years old, bro. So you have to do what's best for the team in the end, and that's what was best for the team. So, no, Cristiano's not the player like he used to be, but him getting benched, him getting benched doesn't have anything to do with it. They were trying to use that as spin a narrative on that for why he was doing that, but that he actually doesn't care. Like if he doesn't even score any goals, he said he would still be happy if Portugal is the team that wins the World Cup. And I hope they do. I hope he retires with the World Cup. That would be awesome.
It's headed toward Argentina barely got by a really good Netherlands team, and Croatia advanced. Man, I think that
was very impressive with Croatia.
It was. I think Argentina and Portugal, they're destined to collide.
That's what everyone wants.
It's a foregone conclusion.
I don't know, man. France is really good. France, I think, has a really good chance to repeat.
France is really good, but when you've gone for so long hearing you're the best in the world and you're Messi or you're Ronaldo, you got to see each other at some point.
That's what the world wants to see.
On the biggest stage, you got to see each other at some point.
I'm gonna have to see it when I believe it when I see it.
I will say this much. I will say this much, and I want everybody at home to listen to me when I say Portugal versus Messi will be the biggest, most watched sporting event.
Of course it will.
No. I'm talking about more than the NBA Finals, more than the Super Bowl, because you have to take into account soccer is the number one sport in the world.
Because everyone in the world's watching, not just people in the United States.
Not just people in the United States, exactly. Messi versus Ronaldo is going to be must-see TV, no matter what continent you're on. But going into my sports moron, and I'll be real quick. So anybody who watched Thursday Night Football last night knows Baker Mayfield made his.
Oh my God!
Say again.
Don't take mine.
Who's yours?
Mine's probably more general. Go ahead.
Well, my sports moron was during the game-winning drive in which Mayfield went 98 yards in less than 2 minutes, the first one in 45 years to do so. The Raiders defensive coordinator decided to call for one-on-one press coverage on Van Jefferson, and it cost them dearly. So, sports moron to you. You probably all but solidified Josh McDaniels out the door.
I mean, letting Baker Mayfield do you like that has to be one of the most devastating feelings in sports, bro.
And he had only been around for 48 hours. He's
not even good. He's not even good in the first place. So letting him do that to you is demoralizing. But the fact that he actually was there for like less than 2 days and didn't actually know the plays, and he still did that to you, that makes it even more demoralizing, I think.
I mean, it's the most Raider thing that could have happened to the Raiders, honestly.
That's the equivalent of letting Patrick Beverly hit like a game-winning shot on you.
That's
what it is.
I heard it on the radio this morning. The NFL, the aggregate NFL record in situations like that for the last X number of, it's 4 wins and 300 and some losses. The Raiders have handed out 2 of those wins in the last 4 weeks. Like you said, Jay, it's the most
Raiders suck
ever. It makes me sad because, as y'all know, I have a soft spot in my heart for the Raiders. But man,
even though you shouldn't,
and it's sad because it's no secret how I feel about Baker. For one, for two, that Rams win dropped that draft pick that we own down a couple slots.
Baker.
You let your team know, the Texans. Now I need y'all to win 3 more games because we need that number 1 pick.
Who are you gonna go after?
Oh, we're gonna trade it back to y'all. I'm just saying we need it.
Well, I hope that the Rams keep winning because it'll help the Eagles because we have the Saints pick. So we want that Saints pick to go up a couple more spots, even though it's already in the top 5. So hopefully some shit will happen with that, and we'll keep on tank watch. Even though the Eagles are 11-1 and they don't have to. I don't think I've ever seen a situation like this where you had a team that was having the best record in the league, and they also ended up with a top 5 pick in the draft next year. I don't think I've ever seen that in my life.
If y'all win the Super Bowl, they're going to be like, man, hold on. I'm willing to bet you someone's going to outcry about it. Like, man, that's not even fair. How these fools win a Super Bowl? There should be something in the rules that says if you win the Super Bowl, you got to forfeit that pick. I'm willing to bet you something's going to come out. So, someone's going to complain about it.
Oh, people are going to be salty if that happens. I mean, people are really going to be mad
probably
if the Eagles win the Super Bowl because, I can already see it happening. The narrative of the Eagles not playing anybody. We could literally win a Super Bowl and people would still say that we didn't beat.
You beat some
certain team that we could have beat in the Super Bowl. But it is what it is.
You beat some good teams.
Say what?
You beat some good teams.
Yeah, I know that, but no, I'm saying that most of the people will not want to say that to us. So it is what it is, though. We don't really care at this point. We've been hearing it all season. So, guys, our player of the week this week is going to be Mr. Steve Young. And we all know something about Steve Young. The guy was a really good quarterback. When you're talking about mobile quarterbacks, he's one of the first guys that I really think of. I know a lot of people will say, people like Michael Vick and Randall Cunningham and type of guys like that. But he was very mobile and agile. He's a good athlete. He was a good quarterback. But biggest thing about his career was being overshadowed by, Joe Montana. Even when Joe Montana was gone, all they ever talked about was Joe Montana and, can Steve Young be the guy? Can he ever, be a guy that can lead them to a Super Bowl? And he was able to do that. And when he actually did win the Super Bowl, there was a video of him on the sideline going like this with his back. And he was like, get the monkey off my back. So that was such a great moment for him in his career. But Steve Young, very good dude, very good quarterback, good analyst. I really enjoy watching him with ESPN and stuff as well. So awesome guy, Hall of Famer. So I like Steve Young.
Steve Young is awesome. And not to mention in that Super Bowl that you said, he threw a record, which still stands to this day, 6 touchdown passes. But in my opinion, I've always said that was the best that Super Bowl was the best coming out party I'd have never seen. And his case is the best coming out of a shadow case I've ever seen. I remember watching him faintly, like in backup duty and whatnot. Knew dude was talented, like even watching him as a youngster. But he won 3 Super Bowls. He's a Super Bowl most valuable player, that third one. He's also 2-time NFL MVP. He got Offensive Player of the Year in '92. He got NFC Offensive Player of the Year twice, 3-time First Team All-Pro, 3-time Second Team, 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time NFL passing touchdowns leader, 6-time NFL passing ratings leader, 5-time completion percentage leader, 49ers Hall of Fame, number 8 retired. BYU? He even had his jersey retired at BYU. The best Steve Young highlight I've ever seen was, and y'all know what it is, the run he had against the Minnesota Vikings. Young, for a white boy, that dude had wheels, like for a running quarterback, and he was agile, like he'll juke you too, you know what I mean? So, but no, awesome, definite awesome choice. James had brought it up and everything. I was like, what, screw it, we're just gonna do Steve Young. We probably are overdue for doing Steve Young, in my opinion. I once had a conversation with a dude on my first deployment, and he said, and I once asked him, I was like, because he was a Cowboys fan, I was like, who was the better quarterback in history, Staubach or Aikman? He said Staubach. I said, why is that? And he said, because in the 90s, I can name 3 other quarterbacks better than Aikman, but Staubach was the best quarterback in the 1970s. I said, which 3 QBs you got? He said, Marino, Moon, and Elway. I said, I'll raise you 2 more, Young and Favre. So Young definitely was on that list. Top 10 quarterback in the 1990s, hands down. But go ahead, Dom.
Hold on. I got a surprise for you guys.
Uh-oh.
You're welcome.
What up?
Woo! Look who's been Zach.
Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
it's the reunion of the original 4 horsemen.
Let's get it, man.
You're welcome.
Dom hit me up, so I was like, all right, I can hop on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man.
JJ called out of work tonight. He said he had to go watch a gay soap opera. Sorry, I'm at the Wizards game. Same thing, though.
Man, it's good to see you, bro, back behind the microphone.
Yeah, I didn't get the memo about you guys all got the Santa caps on tonight.
I already had on, as did James.
Yeah.
We just showed up all wearing them. It wasn't really planned.
It wasn't really planned, yeah. Like, them 2 had it on, and then I was like, oh, shoot, let me go get mine. I went and got mine and stuff. So, you don't have one? You don't have one at all?
I do, but Everly's sleeping, and I don't really want to go grab it. Because God knows if I wake her up and Cassie,
Said you're stuck wearing that lame-ass Packers gear.
Yeah, it's been rough this season, that's for sure.
At least you got Christian Watson, man. That boy is the future.
Yeah.
About Watson.
Thank you for giving me points. Thank you for them points, Christian.
Yeah, I know we're talking about who's our player of the week?
Steve Young.
Oh, Steve Young. Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. I'm just kind of freeballing it. Anyone that's watching, Steve Young, what do I know him for? Well, he's like one of the most accurate passers in NFL history. That's something that's really attributed Steve Young. He's an incredibly accurate passer. I think he has like 4 All-Pros, 5 All-Pros, something like that. He has
7.
he has 7. Oh wow!
What did he say? How many All-Pros did I say? He's a 7-time Pro Bowler.
Oh, I think he has.
And first team All-Pro. We've got a total of 6. He's 3-time first team, 3-time second team. So yeah, we'll say 6.
Yeah, so he's an all-pro quarterback. He's extremely accurate. He's won MVP multiple times. I think he gets overshadowed a lot because of Joe Montana. I think that's something that everyone talks about, Joe Montana and what he's so known for. And Steve Young is a very, very good quarterback. Also think he's a great analyst, what he does for ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
I really like what he has to say. I love him on the Monday, or is it the Monday Night Crew? Yeah, the Monday Night Crew. Before they do picks and stuff like that, he's one of the guys that I kind of tune in to listen to. And he's also really good at picking games too. I don't know if anyone actually pays attention to the standings, but he's very good at picking football games as well. So yeah, he's a student of the game, but he's a mentor and he's a great one. I think the world of Steve Young. I think he's a great quarterback.
What about you, Dominic?
His mom calls him Dominic. I call him Dominic.
Granted, it was a few years before my football viewing career, but Steve Young actually started 5 games his rookie year for Tampa, then 14 more the next year, went to Frisco. But basically, his whole career is based off of age 30 and beyond. When he finally got the reins in Frisco in 1991, started
on it.
11. Yeah. And yeah, like Tyler said, maybe I had forgot, but like 66%, 68, 70% completion percentage.
Insane.
Not done. That's long before Drew Brees was Drew Brees. And the difference is Steve Young didn't have a noodle of an arm like Brees did.
And just to add on to that, there wasn't as many checkdowns then either. So that's even more incredible about the stat. Like if he was able to check the ball down, like he probably would have like 75 to 80% in like today's day and age. So like, yeah, I think it's something that people really overshadow and they overlook it because of what Joe Montana was. And I'm not taking anything away from Joe Montana. Joe Montana was incredible. I'm not throwing shade at him or anything. But I think people just underappreciate Steve Young for the quarterback he was.
For sure.
Steve Young is to quarterbacks what Marshall Faulk is to running backs. Like,
I agree with that.
Criminally underrated.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, Marshall Faulk's one of my favorite football players that isn't a Green Bay Packer. So I totally agree with that.
I thought he retired earlier than he did, but he retired when he was 38, but it was concussion. But I mean, if you can play till you're 38 back.
Yeah, it actually was a game at the Rams.
It's not like he couldn't get cleared from concussion protocol because that didn't exist.
That was it. It actually was a game against the Rams. Lawrence Phillips failed to pick up a block on a blitz, and Young got ran over, and like that was it.
Phillips.
Yeah, he went to prison. Did he? I know he died. Didn't he?
Died.
Yeah, he did.
I think he might have committed suicide.
It might have been, yeah. But by the time Steve Young retired, I mean he was already proven. Best coming out party ever, in my opinion.
Threw 36 touchdowns, a career high 36 touchdowns at age 37 against 12 picks. That's 3-1.
That's pretty damn good, man.
Goff's better than Kirk Cousins, but moving on.
I have to say. All right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude this segment. Next segment is going to be Gauntlet Grinders. For those of you guys that are new, this is a part of the show where we go around the league, go around the NFL, and we're going to, pick certain players that we're really on their grind this week. So I'll start, and I think we know who the Gauntlet Grinders are going to be. It's gonna be Arthur Juan Brown, AJ Brown, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns against his former team, the Tennessee Titans. And the funniest development of this whole thing. The funniest development of this whole thing was like two days after the game, the GM of the Titans got fired. So you made the deal. You made the deal with Philly. You made a deal with Philly for a first-round pick. They drafted Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks got hurt after he scored a touchdown in the first quarter. But yeah, I mean, I just thought that was pretty fun. I guess I'll throw Jalen Hurts in there too, because Jalen Hurts had a really good game, 380 yards passing, 3 passing touchdowns, also had a rushing touchdown. He's the first Eagles player to ever have a game like that. So very impressive for Jalen Hurts on his MVP resume. So yeah, a couple Eagles on the Gauntlet Grinders for me.
Yo, imagine getting fired and the reason is because of some dude named Arthur Juan.
Arthur Juan. That's a cool name, bro. I'm not even kidding.
Man, I'm gonna have so much fun with that. Yo, anyway, I got an AFC and an NFC. The NFC one I got is Scary Terry McLaurin. This got to be the first Gauntlet Grinder in which the result was a tie. But he very much was the reason they were even in the game. 8 receptions, 105 yards, and a TD Jakes. He averaged 13.1 yards per, Arthur Warren Brown. Wow. But yeah, he very much was the reason why they were even in the game. And, of course, they had that kind of late drive to tie it. And then no one could do anything in overtime, so you had a tie. But McLaurin earning his money as usual. The AFC, I got to give it to the Browns defense and special teams. 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions. One of them went back for a touchdown, a punt return touchdown, all defensive and special teams TDs. They held my Texans to only 82 yards rushing. Ironically, Houston's defense allowed 0 TDs as well. But my AFC Gauntlet Grinder is the Browns defense. Still very, in my opinion, more than a solid defense. And we'll just kind of see how the whole Deshaun Watson thing works out and see if that man can get a team. Go ahead, Dom.
Did not look good against the Texans.
Yeah, he definitely was rusty.
AFC, don't mind. It was the Browns defense. NFC, I'm trying to pull up the stats, and I'm on my phone, so I'm trying to look on the computer, and I can't. Oh, I don't want replay. Just show me the box score. It's Jared Goff.
Really?
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, over 300 yards. His completion percentage was like 75. Like that was, granted, it's the Jaguars, whatever, but that is what Jared Goff is capable of with an O-line. And
Jared Goff is the guy?
He's a guy. He's a guy.
Is he a guy or some guy?
He's.
I mean, I guess he's better than Stafford.
This year.
And he is better than Stafford because his elbow is one piece. Wait, let me see that. 31 of 41, 340 yards, 2 Jakes, no picks. DeAndre Swift also looked very good as well. It's the first time all year that we've had both of our running backs and our top 4 wide receivers. And certainly TJ Hawkinson, although I'm afraid of what he went to do us on Sunday.
And you thwarted the
5-7 Lions.
You know the Lions are favored in that game, right?
I guess, yeah. Mm-hmm. And the line went up from 1 to 2 to 2.5.
Yeah, and you thwarted the Vikings from locking up.
Are you guys at home, or are you guys going to Minnesota?
It's at home.
Okay.
And Detroit's favored? That's funny.
That tells you that the league does not think the Vikings are a serious threat.
Yeah. It's that, and the Vikings are in a 1-score game every single week. So, like, even though they've won 10 games, like, you know, a lot of people aren't looking at it as if they don't win. There's like 7 of those games that they could easily have lost.
They could have lost.
So
yeah, that's true.
I think
they got blown out against the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit of frauds, to be honest, too. But
it depends on how you look at it, really, because like one side, you know, may say, well, man, they look like paper champions to me. They don't really blow anybody out. The other side may say, well, good teams find a way to win.
win close games.
Yeah.
Thing
But-
that 2 years.
But we all
I mean,
know
neither side is really wrong. You know, if they when they make it to the postseason, that's when it counts.
There's at least one game later
You're
in the
going to lose in the divisional round.
and Cousins.
probably it's probably accurate.
The funny thing is,
Defense isn't good enough to hold them through the NFC. That's what's going to bite them. So
the playoffs as the last seed, the Eagles or the Vikings. I like our chances. I'm not saying we're going to win. I'm just saying.
So, okay, Gauntlet Grinders for this week. I'm going to pick Christian Watson. I'm going to be a homer on this one. I think what that boy's doing this year, even with the Packers team that's really, they're not good. I admit that, but Christian Watson has kind of broke out. He's had 8 touchdowns in the past 4 games now, which is unheard of. They got 8. He has 8 touchdowns. He's technically fourth. He's technically 4th in the league right now in touchdowns, and he's only played 10 games this season. So that's something to take into effect too. He's played less games than everyone, and he's all the way up there. He has 9 touchdowns on the season.
He's a future wide receiver 1.
Yeah, he's there
now.
Current wide receiver 1.
And what I saw this last week is something that I wish they can keep doing is when I saw the jet sweep with him. They used the jet sweep for Christian Watson. He took it to the house on 46 yards. That boy is so much faster for like his size than people, even give him. Yeah.
Just keep giving him the ball, man. Good things happen when you give him the ball.
So I'm going to say him. And then a player that I'm going to say, because I think he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, is that boy Woolen for the Seahawks, man. That boy is crazy right now. He just got he just got what was it, his 6th interception on the season now. I think he's going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I really do. I think
he's having a big year.
I don't think he has nearly that many interceptions because last I saw
6. He has 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he has 6.
That boy got 6 picks.
They wrote Woolen off, so he didn't write back.
Tariq Woolen has the most interceptions in a single season for a Seahawks rookie after picking off Rams, whatever. And then it says 6 interceptions for rookie Woolen, tied for the most in the NFL.
That's nuts.
So he must have broke Richard Sherman's record then.
Yeah. So
Sherm had 8, didn't he?
And where was he picked in the draft?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you that.
2nd or 3rd.
Wait. What's his name again?
Tariq Woolen. TARI.
Someone look that up.
Tariq Woolen.
WOOL.
Okay. Yep. Seattle Seahawks. He's a 5th rounder. Pick 153.
That's a
just
nice.
Like Sherman was a 5th rounder. That's crazy.
But I will say to add on to why I'm going to pick him and talk about him is that I think Seattle, it might be the most perfectly set up team of everyone going forward. Geno Smith has obviously, overachieved what everyone thought this season. He's been a great quarterback for them, but they got 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders going into this draft. So they've played with house money all year. And they've really, really, overachieved this season, setting themselves up for the next couple of years. Seattle's going to be a real team. They're going to be a real playoff team for years to come.
They robbed the Broncos, bro. Like the Broncos are in the mud right now. Like you have given the Seahawks all the 1st-round picks, like Tyler just said, but also the Broncos are literally in a position where they're stuck because they gave Russell Wilson one of the biggest contracts. So now they're stuck with Russell Wilson, even though he sucks. He's one of the worst. He's maybe the worst quarterback in the league this season.
I don't think Russ is the problem.
Yes, he is.
Not completely the problem.
It ain't their defense. That ain't the problem. That's
their defense ain't the problem.
Bro, before the season, what
even
were we
with
saying?
Chubb they still play defense.
Oh, well, if you give the Broncos a quarterback, then they're going to be like a Super Bowl contender. Well, you're supposed to be a quarterback that makes this team a contender, and you suck. All this stuff about let Russ cook. Russ, he can't cook. You're like JJ on Thanksgiving. You're burning the mac and cheese, bro. You can't have this.
White Van is trying to tell me that their O-line is bad.
White Van. Okay, inside joke. We're gonna We're going to take a short commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about this situation about Deion Sanders, him becoming the new head coach of Colorado. It really is turning a lot of heads right now, and it's one of the hottest topics. But we'll be right back.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Fanatics, where a real sports fan shop, is an official sponsor for the Gauntlet. Make sure you guys go to Fanatics for all your Christmas shopping for this holiday season or whatever other holidays that you celebrate. So let's get into this because this is going to be a real conversation right here. So Deion Sanders is becoming the next head coach of Colorado. He was at Jackson State for a few years. So basically this is what's going on. You have a lot of people that are hating on Deion Sanders for taking the job because they're saying, well, he switched up, he did all this stuff. He's not being real when he put a school that nobody ever heard of. Like, raise your hand if before Deion Sanders went over there, you knew who Jackson State was.
Right.
Well,
You knew who they were, like as a reputable college football program.
well, heard of them, yes,
That's what
but
you
I
know.
mean, keep in mind, like people in my family have gone to HBCU, so of course I
knew
heard of them.
an HBCU with you can't say storied tradition, but an HBCU
I don't
with
follow him. That's how I'll word it.
Okay, most of the world never, ever heard of this school in their life.
True.
Deion Sanders put this school on the map, and everything that he said he was going to do when he went there, he did. So these people need to be grateful for what he did. Because, let's face it, Jackson, Mississippi, from everything that I've been told, this is one of the most garbage cities that nobody wants to live in. There's nothing to do there. There's nothing there. It's just a bad place. And he goes there and he puts them on the map and he does all these great things. And he's getting like high recruits and he's getting good players that want to go play there. That would not have ever happened without Deion Sanders. And now Deion is taking the next step. He's getting more offers from better schools. That's also going to be paying him more money. They were paying him like $300,000 at Jackson State. They're going to be paying him like a couple million at Colorado. So all the same people that are hating would also, if another job offered them like $5 more to their salary, they would leave. Yet you're hating on Deion Sanders for going to a better place so he can actually have a chance to advance his career as a head coach. Eventually, I mean, if Deion Sanders does really well at Colorado, then maybe some of these big schools in the SEC and other parts in the country are going to be calling Deion's phone and saying, yo, Prime, like Coach Prime, what do we got to do to get a deal done? That's what Deion's trying to do in his career, and people are hating on him for it. So I think it's absolutely ridiculous that people are saying this stuff and hating on Deion Sanders. And I hope he goes to Colorado and he does really well over there.
I like his chances at Colorado. You got to keep in mind that Deion Sanders is all about the next challenge. So he went to Jackson State because he took on the challenge. He changed the culture over there. He put his own money in and rebuilt stuff. And with that being said, appreciate that Cowboy X Factor. But yeah, he's all about taking on the next challenge. He went over there. He changed the culture. He rebuilt things. He flipped that one guy from his own alma mater to Jackson State, which is nearly unheard of.
That's wild.
And so, I want everybody to get familiar with who Colorado is. If you're not already, if you're not, it's okay. They're a school who went from being the forgotten about team in the Big 12 to the forgotten about team in the Pac-12. And I said, anybody who watched that clip of his initial speech when he got there to UC Boulder, some people had like a problem with how he said things and whatnot. I want you to take a look at Colorado's record last season, 1-11, or this past season, 1-11. That's the reason why he made that damn speech. Deion Sanders is in your face. He's not gonna, and not only that, but they dig him because he's flashy. He's always been flashy, and kids love flash. They love Coach Prime. They adore that man, you know? And Coach Prime is the type of dude you want to play for, you know? That's why old buddy was like, man, I could go to the big name school, but I want to play for Coach Prime. Now let's see just how many more he can land like that at Colorado. I foresee at least a couple of more. But no, I wish him all the best. If he goes to Colorado, which is there right now, and he does the same thing on the field that he did at Jackson State, Colorado will be Pac-12 champions within 2 to 3 years. Remember, I said this. Go ahead, Dom.
I can't even say to James's point, but referencing what James said, anyone that's hating on Deion Sanders for, like, obviously Jackson State was the stepping stone, but he did everything that he could there, and obviously he was gunning for a better job. I thought he was going to hold out for maybe one more year. Y'all know I don't watch college football. Totally flew under my radar. Florida State was 8-3 this year. So obviously he's not getting that job this year. But
if they fired a coach in a couple years, he does really well at Colorado.
Oh, absolutely.
I think there's a good chance.
Even if he does well at Colorado, or, I mean, at this point, a one
or
win.
Someone else is going to want him if he does well.
What does he got to do? But also, James Houston, the problem, the Lions linebacker who has 3 sacks in 17 snaps. He graduated from Florida, had 1 year of eligibility left. Where do you think he went?
Did he go to Jackson State?
He definitely went to Jackson State. Those dudes alive. And he finally got on the field, and now look at him. Look at him. Killing him. I've always loved Prime, and
good stuff.
Great to see him succeeding and moving on to bigger and better things. And Colorado's just a stepping stone, but I would like to see him stay there for however long it takes to bring them to supremacy and then go get whatever job he wants, because he'll get it.
We talked about it on the Pundits Pundit. Now, Scott Morganroth, shout out to him. He thinks his ultimate goal is the NFL. I think his ultimate goal is Florida State. He wants to coach his alma mater. He wants to coach, before it's all said and done, he wants to head coach his old alma mater.
I don't think Deion cares about being in the NFL. I think he wants to impact young people.
Exactly. He wants because you're in the – I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tyler. You good?
Yeah, so I'm going to hop on here and talk about this for a second because, for one, Deion Sanders is from Fort Myers. So I get this news on Deion Sanders almost every single day. He went to high school at North Fort Myers. He got a key to the city down here. So
local boy.
Yeah, he's a local boy. So Deion Sanders, we get a lot of news on. For one, I agree with all you guys. I don't think this is going to be a disagreement topic because I agree. Deion Sanders needs it. When you're moving up in any job, I don't care what job field you are. When you're moving up, it don't matter if you're white, black, brown. It doesn't matter, right? If you're moving up and getting a promotion, you're going to take that promotion. So I think people need to take that whole narrative about Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State and all of that and embrace him on his journey at Colorado. To Jay's point, I want to agree with Jay as well, because the Pac-12 almost every year changes who wins the Pac-12. It's not like Alabama. They don't have an Alabama in the Pac-12 that just runs things over. We've seen Washington in the playoffs. We've seen USC win the Pac-12 before. We've seen UCLA win the Pac-12.
Oregon, Utah.
All of them, right? So Colorado in a couple of years is more than capable to be, Pac-12 champs. I was kind of rooting for him to pick South Florida. I know they were in the running, and I was kind of hoping that he was going to be go see what he could do with that team. But this is a bigger opportunity, so I'm not going to knock him for taking Colorado. Obviously, Colorado is a bigger school than the South Florida Bulls. So I'm happy for Prime. I do think, it's interesting what his end goal is, whether it is Florida State or whether it is the NFL. I think he could do either. It's really up to him based off his success here at Colorado. But I do think he's, what is the contract necessarily? It's like 3 or 4 years or whatever.
I know he's getting $5 million.
It's
Let me check that for you.
3 years, right?
If it's-
My point is, I expect. What's
Go ahead.
that?
No, I'm saying if it's 3 years, he'll be there. If it's 4, he won't get fired, but he will not fulfill that 4th year because by then he'll be on to Florida State. I'm guessing.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is if it's a 3-year deal, I fully expect him to fulfill his contract and be at Colorado for the next 3 years.
5 years, 5 years, $30 million.
30
So-
million. Okay, my bad. Yeah.
Oh, there's good chance if he has a lot of success there, depending on where they are and where they stack. Let's say he gets his team in the college football playoffs.
I was going to say,
if he gets his team in there, it doesn't even really matter if they win or lose. It depends, obviously, what kind of team he has and if they can come back and get back in there. But if he does, then he's going to start getting even more job offers for sure after that. So
Too far, Chris.
And Florida State, when it comes time, they're gonna remember what he did because he flipped that recruit from Florida State to Jackson State. Now, Florida's a weird kind of state, and I know you can attest to it, Tyler, because you live there. Because Florida State is ACC, but it's in SEC territory.
mhm.
So it's like, well, if he could do that, if he comes over here, he could flip a player from Alabama, a Georgia, a LSU. Now the guys that were supposed to go to the SEC and show out, they can come to Florida State.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And it's not completely out of the running that he couldn't take, down the road. We've seen an ACC team win the national championship. We've seen Clemson win it. We've seen Jameis Winston win it, at Florida State. So it's not out of the realm that if you're not in the SEC, you can't win a national championship,
Mm-hmm.
So I think the whole goal for him is to kind of be like where Washington was sitting a couple of years ago when they got to the college football playoffs, in which you take your team to the college football playoffs. Even if you get blew out, it doesn't really matter because you're playing with house money. No one's expecting you to go out there and get to the
overachieve.
championship. Yeah, Washington had a hell of a season that year, and they made the college football playoffs. If he takes
Right.
Colorado there, they're gonna love him there, and guess what? Everyone in the country is gonna be eyeing Deion Sanders after that. So
not that hard to run through the
Definitely. Like, how much to buy out your contract, man? You got to come to Florida State. You got to come to here. You got to come here. Man, it'd be insane.
or maybe the NFL, like you said. I don't think it's completely out of the running that an NFL team doesn't want to hire him, and if he wanted to do that, then all power to him too. My point. I'm definitely embracing Deion through the whole thing. So I wish him. I'm not a Buffalo fan by any means. Like I'm kind of with Dom. Like I'm not a huge college football fan. Me and him are just kind of pro sport guys in general. But I will be watching. I'm kind of a casual fan, but I do follow along with everything, and I wish him the best. And that's all I can really say on the matter.
Fair enough, guys. So MVP. We've had this debate before, but it kind of seems like we're getting to the crunch time of the season and everything. So it really seems like you have two guys.
I was going to say, this isn't going to be multiple guys, right?
You have Jalen Hurts and you have Patrick Mahomes. So as of right now, who's the front runner of MVP? Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes?
Man, it's
front runner or who's going to win it? Like, what are you asking?
Who do you think's going to win it?
Okay, so I think
lead right now, and who's going to win it?
I think Patrick Mahomes is in the lead right now. I'm just being honest. Like in terms of the odds, I think Patrick Mahomes is in the lead right now. Who I think is going to win it by the end of the season is I think Jalen Hurts is still going to win this thing. I think towards the end of the year, we will see, the body of work, and they'll look at the standings and they'll look at where everything's sitting. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to win MVP because I think the Eagles are going to keep winning football games through this whole thing. As of right now, I mean, it really is. I think the odds are pretty close right now. I think the Vegas odds are, but I do think Mahomes is slightly ahead. So right now, I'd probably say Mahomes is the front runner. But I do think Jalen Hurts is going to win this thing by season's end.
Jay?
Man, right now, I can't pick a winner right now because on one end of the spectrum, you got Jalen Hurts, and he's leading the number one team in the NFL. 11-1 speaks volumes, regardless of whatever Cowboy fan wants to say. They didn't play anybody or anything like that. You know what? You're right. You're right, Cowboys fans. They didn't play nobody. Anyway, but with Patrick Mahomes, I mean, you can't ignore it, man. Right now, he's at 3,800 yards. He's on pace for 5,000. 30 TDs, 8 picks, passer rating 104.9. He is letting everyone know, wait, hold on. Y'all talked about that guy in Buffalo, that guy in Philly, and much props to him. You even talked about that guy in Baltimore, and then there's some dude in Miami, and y'all forgot all about me. Y'all forgot all about me. I'm the one that's having these street ballers throw the ball behind their ear and all that kind of. I'm the man, and not only that, I'm doing it without who was my number one receiver. So that can't be ignored too. So as of right now, I can't pick a winner. By the end, it could be Jalen Hurts. I think both guys are deserving, but the front runner right now, I say is Patrick Mahomes. Go ahead, Dom.
Right now, I have Mahomes, and I think going forward, I have Mahomes. Nothing against Jalen Hurts, but like you said, Jay, Patrick Mahomes lost his number one receiver, whereas Jalen Hurts gained a number one receiver. Philly's roster is better than Kansas City's.
That's a fair point.
Every aspect of it is better. The O-line is better. The receivers are better. The running backs are better. The tight ends, as a group, are better than Travis Kelce by himself. Defense is better. Me personally, I would like to give it to Jalen Hurts, but I think it's Patrick Mahomes right now and going forward. But that's also the matchup I want to see. And this is what makes me wish that they would hold off on the MVP voting until after the Super Bowl. I get it. It's a regular season award, as it is in every sport. But wouldn't it make it that much better?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, real quick, with Jalen Hurts, that's a testament to him too. Because last year he did more with less. He won 9 games with Jalen freaking Reagor on his roster. That's saying something. Go ahead, JT.
Well, the one thing I want to explain to people is that, Dom's saying all this stuff about, well, the Eagles have, all these great players on the roster. But the definition of MVP is a guy that can lead a team and a guy that the team wins because of him. And the Philadelphia Eagles are winning because of Jalen Hurts. That can't really be debated for this season. He's throwing the ball very, very well. He's one of the most accurate passers in the league. He's got 68% completion percentage. When you stop the run game of the Eagles, we're not just like a team that runs the ball. We're very, very good at running the ball. But if you stop us from running the ball, we will throw the ball over the yard and we will beat you that way. But when a running game's humming,
he's in 3 picks.
The guy had 157 rushing yards against the Green Bay Packers. The next week he comes out against Tennessee, he throws for 380 and 3 touchdowns. So he's doing everything for the team. So when you think about the team, you're not thinking about, he's being a game manager, he's doing this and that. He's not. He's balling and he's playing at a crazy level. And Mahomes is balling. I don't think that I like Tua and what he's done, and Josh Allen. I think he was right there in the race. And I think
I think Joe Burrow is probably third.
Joe Burrow is probably on his way. So that's a really good point, Tyler. But yes. I think Josh has kind of dropped out of the race. So I think Jalen, if he continues to do this and the Eagles have the number one seed, so kind of like what Tyler was saying, look at the whole body of work, I think you got to give the MVP to Jalen when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and I'm gonna keep it about the quarterbacks, but I want to say also a big reason watching the Green Bay Packers play the Philadelphia Eagles, and a big reason why the Eagles ran it with authority is that a lot of credit has to be given to that Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. That offensive line is so good. They are so good. Whether it's Jordan singing, in the off season or whatever, Jordan Malad or whatever his last name is, or it's Jason Kelsey, that offensive line is so stacked and it's so impressive. And I think as far as the Eagles' future going forward to get to the Super Bowl, a lot of this defensively is going to be kind of on keep preserving what Jordan Davis can do for them going into the playoffs, because he's such a vocal part of that Eagles defensive line to plug up that run going forward.
I'm sorry, JT. Can you put that last comment up that Grizzy had real quick?
Grizz says the thing is you can be surrounded with great players, but if you can't get the ball to them, it doesn't really matter. Baker Mayfield, OBJ, and Landry, and he looked like a bum. And he also said Jalen is getting the ball to AJ, Devontae, Quez, and all the players on the team, and his team is winning because of how much Jalen has improved. So
now,
better than that.
Now Jalen Hurts has 5 less picks, but Mahomes has 10 more touchdowns. But Jalen Hurts is leading the number 1 team in the league.
And it's Jalen has 3 picks, but if you have watched the Eagles play this season, you know that his picks, other than the pick 6 against the Jaguars, he had 2 interceptions this year that came from a dropped pass where he throws a perfect pass to A.J. Brown against the Commanders, and it gets intercepted because it goes through AJ's hands because he doesn't catch the ball.
And I mean, we got to take it.
6 versus the Jags was a tip ball too. He might have highballed it a tad bit.
It was a little bit behind.
It might have highballed it a tad bit, but they gonna count it as a
really bad throw that he's made the whole season. Jalen's been making good throws consistently.
And look at look at who's calling the plays. We're not going to compare Andy Reid to Nick Sirianni right now, too. So, what Jalen's doing for his situation, what getting his team prepared every week, it's really an A or B, like 1A, 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 2A, honestly, kind of right now.
If you could do co-MVPs, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But in the end, we know there has to be one.
I agree. Because I do agree with Jay too. I mean, like the Chiefs, for what they are for this team, like their defense isn't very good. For their situation, and Mahomes has really kind of bailed them out of a bad situation. You lose your number 1 wide receiver, and now all of a sudden you're getting, all kinds of guys in action, not just Travis Kelce. You're getting, all kinds of guys in action too for them. So I don't know. And all that being said, that could very well be the Super Bowl too. It could be the 2 MVP candidates playing in the Super Bowl. It could be the Chiefs and the Eagles. So,
and to Tyler's point, that defense has kind of been like this for like the last.
What?
Well,
Chiefs don't play the Bengals on the way because Patrick Mahomes' daddy's name
is
Joe Burrow. Yep. True. As long as they don't run to the Bengals. But to Tyler's point, that defense, Mahomes has had to build that defense out for like the last 4 years. That defense is strange, man. It's like the first 9, 10, 11 games, they like average. They don't get hot till later in the year.
Right.
Man,
so right now, I'm waiting on the Chiefs defense to wake up. This their time.
They got like Chris, and that's it, man. That's their defense, honestly.
Yeah, but I don't know what it is about Spagnuolo. He seemingly wakes up like right before the playoffs, and then the defense will get hot. But the first 10 games, man, they damn near non-existent. Mahomes having to come back from double-digit lead. It's like, yeah, man, that defense has been weird, dude.
It is.
Every year.
JT?
Yeah, Burrow had a really good game against the Chiefs as well. Like you said, Burrow's 3-0 against them. But our non-sports topic, guys, best Christmas movie. Speaking of Joe Burrow, he kind of looks like Joe Burrow looks like the grown-up version of the kid off of Home Alone, if we're being serious. But
absolutely,
Home Alone, like I gotta give some respect to Home Alone. I think it's actually one of like the underrated ones. But my favorite one is definitely the Grinch, the Jim Carrey one.
That's Cassie's favorite.
I love the scene. Like, I saw a clip of this. I actually forgot about this part of the film, but there's like a scene where the Grinch, he's laying in the bed and he's basically bitching and complaining because, why are these Who's getting up so early? Here's like the alarm clocks. And then they showed the camera shot of his clock, and it was like 11 p.m. or something, and he was complaining about like people not getting up at a certain time. So it's just funny. It's just a classic for me. So I really like The Grinch.
I'm going Home Alone. I'm definitely going Home Alone. Home Alone. Why are you shaking your head? Home Alone's the greatest Christmas movie ever.
I'm shaking my head about the goddamn abortion of a Grinch movie with Jim Carrey.
Oh, you like the original?
It's not that bad. You're probably gonna pick some stupid movie that no one's ever heard of anyway.
So mine's Home Alone for sure. Home Alone brings up so much nostalgia for me. I even love the second one as well, but the original one is probably my favorite. I watch it every year. I'm stoked to watch every year. I have like 3 shirts of like the Wet Bandits. I have one of the Sticky Bandits.
Bandits.
Yeah, so I love them. They're actually my favorite part of Home Alone. I love those 2 idiots, man. So definitely Home Alone for me.
Those bumbling burglars, man. That was.
I love them, dude. I saw Justin Timberlake and his woman went as them for Halloween this year, and I thought that was hilarious. I'm not even a big Justin Timberlake fan, but I was like, oh, dude, that's super super cool that they did that. It was hilarious. What's that?
White Michael Jackson.
Yeah, White Michael Jackson. JT.
Pretty much.
Steal mine because I know you're gonna. Wait, in unison. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Die Hard.
Thank you.
Die Hard, absolutely. Well, you know what? I said what I had to say last week. Anyway, I mean, y'all pretty much know it, man. Plot takes place on Christmas. His wife's at a Christmas party. Terrorists take over, and then the rest is history. The fact that
Gremlins counts too, for the record. Anyone that's watching this, Gremlins is a Christmas movie as well.
Yes, absolutely.
This movies. We still did 1.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they but yeah, I mean, a homicide detective from NYPD goes and fights like a bunch of terrorists. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, and it happened on Christmas. And Die Hard 2 also took place on Christmas as well. Go ahead, Dom.
Batman Returns also took place on Christmas.
Yes, it
did. That counts. That counts. And to JT's point, and to JT's point of the original series, the Tim Burton Joel Schumacher series, Batman Returns my favorite one.
Yes, sir.
First Batman's better.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it.
Of all Batmans or of just that series?
It's like Batman Returns, and then down here is the first Christian Bale one. And I still
wait. Where do you rank where do you rank the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh my God!
Don't have the Dark Knight #1
theater. I walked out because I was like,
blasphemy.
Mom is an old head, bro. Like he likes to disrespect things that everyone likes.
Kill. Me and Carol went to see that. Walked out after like an hour and a half. I'm like, I can't do this no more.
Of what?
There's something wrong with you.
Of Christian Bale as Batman?
No, the Batman and Robin one. The one with Arnold.
Fuck, man.
Okay, never mind.
And Uma Thurman.
Okay, yeah. At first I was like, dude, Dark Knight. People could hype it all they want. It's because it's that good. It's really good. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, now hold on, Dom. Now where do you rank Batman Forever?
Which one's that?
This went
the one with Val Kilmer.
Movies to talking about Batman real quick.
Just barely.
During the Christmas movie segment.
Above Batman Robin. Because that was Jim Carrey and what's his name?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
What's the most overrated Christmas movie or the one you don't like? I kind of already know Dom's answer, I think, but
overrated?
I'll say one because I think this movie is overrated every year.
He's gonna say the Christmas Story.
No, I'm gonna say the Polar Express, man. I think it's super. I think it's super overrated.
With you.
I think people hype the Polar Express, and it's really boring. To be completely honest,
I saw the preview.
Not a Polar Express fan.
A half in advance, and I was not excited.
Yeah. It's lame.
Mean.
I do
Just
want to see
mean.
Violent Night for anyone that's watching though. That
I don't
Violent
even
Night
know.
movie
I
looks
do.
dope. I do want to see it.
Yeah, I want to check it out. Plot doesn't look all that complicated
Dude,
or
it
whatever.
got good reviews. It got good
but
reviews though.
yeah, it did. I'm about to go check that out next week, man.
Overhyped.
What? Yeah, overhyped. Most overrated. Polar Express. A lot of people love it. I get it, so that's why I'm picking it. I think it's super overhyped.
It's a wonderful overrated.
Great choice. I think that's overrated too.
Yeah, might be. That might be my pick.
I thought Christmas Story is your pick.
No, I would say It's a Wonderful Life because of course there's better ones. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a classic and everything, but I mean, shoot, like Scrooge. Scrooge is a freaking Christmas movie too, But that's more of a classic.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of, I can't remember what it's called. It just came out, or maybe not. It's Will Ferrell and
yeah,
it's a musical. Too much singing, but
Spirited or something.
Yeah,
Spirited.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Worth the watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Y'all fans?
I'm usually not a musical fan. That's why I didn't.
And it's it's like almost 2 hours, and I'm like an hour into it. I'm like, how many more songs?
Yeah.
Y'all fans of Bad or Badder Santa?
Oh my God!
I love Bad Santa. The first
that's
one.
on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, the first one.
Oh yeah, the first one. Badder Santa was.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
What's overrated? Come on, James. Let me know.
Overrated?
Overrated Christmas.
I don't watch that many Christmas movies to be able to really say.
What's a bad one?
I mean, I don't think the Tim Allen one is that good.
Santa Claus.
It's not.
Santa Claus,
it's not.
I don't know. I've watched those before. And I'm just like,
Well,
I like
Santa Claus.
I like Home Alone, and I like The Grinch, and I like Elf.
I'll put it to you like this:
3 movies.
I like Charlie
Santa
Brown
Claus-
Christmas too for my mom. I'll throw my mom.
Well,
out there.
Charlie Brown.
Charlie
I
Brown's
keep that separate.
classic.
I keep
That's
that stuff
iconic.
separate. Like Charlie Brown and Rudolph and Frosty and all that stuff.
Yeah,
That's in another
iconic.
category.
They have to be there. Can't say that's overrated.
the Santa Claus is probably a movie that you kind of grow out of. You may have liked it as a teen, but as an adult, not so much.
Yeah,
It's not a classic. It's not something I can go back to watch.
No,
that's fair. That's a good choice.
Last thing: start one, bench one, cut one. Rudolph, Frosty, or Charlie Brown.
Ooh,
I'm starting Charlie Brown.
Yep.
And I'm gonna bench Rudolph. And I'm gonna cut Frosty.
Same.
I'd start Charlie Brown.
I'm starting Charlie Brown for sure.
Starting Charlie Brown, bench Frosty, cut Rudolph.
Okay.
God, that's tough between Frosty and Rudolph.
Neither the Rudolph nor the Frosty movie are actually any good, so bench cut doesn't matter.
Rudolph is.
I definitely agree that Charlie
Rudolph.
Brown's the one, so that's definitely start.
Yeah.
I'll go with Jay on that one. I'll probably cut Rudolph.
You got to start Charlie Brown, man.
Oh yeah, Charlie Brown's the best one of the three.
Bro.
What's that?
Charlie Brown's getting buckets.
Oh yeah, you going
for years. Charlie Brown dropping 25 a game. So
my mom's a big Peanuts fan, so I grew up on Charlie Brown. Whether it's The Great Big Pumpkin or Charlie Brown Christmas, all of them. We definitely grew up on those. So
when anyone more than 15 years older than me tries to talk to me, all I hear is wah, 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 wah.
Dude, so iconic.
I
always think of the teacher.
Good stuff. All right, gentlemen. I want to thank everybody for being a part of the show and watching the show.
I want to thank our very special guest.
Whoa, he's not a guest. He's family.
Shut up. He's not a guest.
Not a guest. He's family.
We want to thank our special guest. Shut up, Dom.
You're welcome.
It's the 4 horsemen for life. So, JJ, thank you for taking the night off, because without you, this probably would not be possible.
Love you, JJ. Love you.
We still love you, bro.
Enjoy your 500-ish basketball team. Hope it was worth it.
I can't even say anything, man. My Bulls. I'm
Okay,
so
well,
sorry.
that's a mic drop, guys. That's a mic drop. So we will see you guys next Friday night.